All right, welcome back, everybody, to this week's Office Hours Bandzoogle live stream. Been doing this for a couple of weeks now. It's been pretty successful. We've had people pop in, people ask questions, people introduce themselves. Most importantly, I say this every week. We're going to talk about a specific topic related to music, related to building your website, relating to marketing your website, or even just tips on improving your music career as an independent artist. But most importantly, let me know what's some good music that you're listening to these days. I'm always looking for recommendations, especially from other musicians. So post in the chat, say hi, let me know your name, where you're from. Let me know what type of music you play. Are you a band? Are you a singer? Are you a songwriter? Are you a DJ? Are you a rapper? Let me know. And if you're not playing anything right now, definitely let me know what you're listening to. Again, keep those recommendations coming. So today we are going to be talking about EPKs. But that being said, don't be shy if you have questions about anything to do with music, anything to do with your website, anything to do with marketing yourself as a musician, anything at all. Do not be shy. Post in the chat and we'll have a nice little conversation. It's all about hanging out. This is why we do this. We do it to hang out with our members, to reach out a little bit. Sure, we're going to cover specific topics, but the presentation is not limited, or the conversation is not limited to those specific topics. So definitely do not be shy. Might be noise. I'm going to adjust my mic here. Okay. Soul Rocker from Philly. Man, I love the sound of Soul Rocker. Do you do like actual soul music? I used to be in a band that did a lot of Wilson Pickett covers, and I was a singer. You might not think I'm too funky of a guy from looking at me, but yeah, I used to do that at pubs here around Montreal where I live. I love soul. It's Soul Rocker. That sounds amazing. I want to know more. Okay, so EPKs. Let's get on topic here. I could easily just talk about soul music for half an hour if you let me. Let me just start a presentation here, or start screen share. All right. So this is part of a larger presentation that we did. Let me just go back here. Again, these lives are not meant to be formal in any way, but this is what I wanted to talk about today. Okay, what should you be including in your EPK? This is the big thing that I wanted to get across. So, what is an electronic press kit to start with, right? If you're here, you're probably curious about it, or you know what it is, and you're like, how do I even go about doing this on Bandzoogle? So, an EPK, electronic press kit, is kind of like a digital calling card that you can use to hand out to bookers, promoters, media of all different types, anybody who might be looking to gain more information about you for any kind of promotional purposes. You put together sort of like a one-page EPK. And the idea of that is that it used to be this physical package that you would send out. That's why it was called a kit. It used to actually be like a big brown envelope, those brown envelopes with the strings that you would seal it with, or seal it with some hot wax if you were fancy enough to have like a branded sigil for your band. And you would send that out, this envelope, with a CD or a cassette, if you're as old as I am, and with some pictures, some printed promotional pictures, maybe, a printout of a bio, some information, some text there for them to learn about you. And you would mail these things out. You would physically mail these things out to venues that you hope to play at, festivals you hope to get booked at, reviewers, radio hosts that you hope would review your album, right? So that's what a press kit is. It's a kit for the press, right? And so a digital press kit is just that. It's a one page of your site that has all this information. And so we have different page types for press kits. When you're creating a page of your website, you can say, I want to create an EPK. There's a page type for that. And then there's, EPKs for to get booked. There's EPKs to further along a tour. There's a general EPK. There's all different kinds of things that you can play around with. And it'll give you a suggested page layout to work with there. We are a live band at Facilities and Music Production based out of Kolkata, India. Whoa, cool. That's awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. Kolkata, did I pronounce that correct? Is it not Calcutta, right? That's different. Please correct me if I pronounce that wrong, and I apologize. All Facilities and Music Production. That's awesome. Sounds like you got a really fun outfit put together there. Thanks for popping in. So that's what an EPK is in general. So these are some tips on what should be in your EPK. So number one, you want to have a bio. And so what's the purpose of this bio to throw into your electronic press kit? Well, it's to give them an idea of who you are, of course, whoever's looking at it. But, and here's the catch, right? It's also something that they can copy and paste and use for any kind of promotional material. So whether that be, let's say, for example, you're looking to get booked at like a local festival, right? Depending where you are, your state, your province, if you're in Canada, your city, or if it's a big international festival, maybe depending what scale you're working on, you want to play this festival. So you contact the organizers. They normally have a contact email where you can apply to play the festival. You send them a link to your EPK. So what kind of stuff are they going to need from you? Well, they're going to want to know who you are, right? So short bio explaining who you are. But also, if they are going to be doing any kind of promotion after that, right? So normally these festivals, they might create a website of their own, or on socials, they mention each band, and then they're going to have like a little blurb about the band, right? And so that they can copy and paste that text from your EPK and use that directly as the little blurb, and they don't have to contact you for anything. There doesn't have to be any back and forth. It's all ready to go for them right there. So that's what the text is for. Pretty self-explanatory. So here's an example of a bio that one of our members, Clara Delfina, actually. But so she had a really cool picture there, a really cute picture of her as a little pup, a little baby playing violin, and then a nice bio there to go along with it. So photos, look, you definitely want to have photos. That kind of goes without saying. But the purpose of photos in an EPK are they're multi-purpose. Okay, so photos in EPK aren't just for people to look at to get a visual representation of who you are. Sure, they play that role too. But photos in an EPK are practical. Is again that same reason that I mentioned before. If it's a festival that you're applying to play at and they're going to be promoting the festival, or if it's somebody who's going to be reviewing an album that you just released and you sent it to some YouTubers, you sent it to some radio hosts, whoever it might be that's going to be reviewing the album. If they're going to be talking about it on their website, if they're going to be posting an article form review of it on a blog or whatever it might be, or on their socials, they can take these images from your EPK, these promotional press images, and they can use them. So you're certain that they're going to have really nice high resolution images that they can pull from. And then you're not worried that they're maybe going to your socials and pulling like images, random half blurry live images from you a week ago or whatever it might be. So have really nice high resolution images for press ready to go for them to pull from. Wicked Drill, funk rock from Berlin. Dude, that's an awesome, if that's your band name, Wicked Drill, that's awesome. I really love that. That's great. Berlin's such a cool city too. My God, I'm so jealous. Jealous you get to live in Berlin, especially as a musician in Berlin. Well, no better life, right? And funk rock, man, I love funk rock. So yes, images in that sense are going to be multifunctional in your EPK, but they are extremely practical for that reason. Whoever's going to be talking about you, whoever's going to be promoting you, whoever's going to be advertising you for whatever reason it is, you want to give them some really nice high resolution images to work with. So here we go. This is another member of ours, and these are the promotional photos that they had there on their EPK. Do you have professionals? Antoine. Oh, Antoine, were you just in the webinar that we did? If not, another person named Antoine, spelled the exact same way. If you were in the webinar, welcome to the live. Thanks for joining us. From Ohio. Nice. Do you have professionals who can help us make a killer EPK? So we do have professionals. We're all professionals here at Bandzoogle. Can we help you make an EPK? Well, so Bandzoogle at its core is a do-it-yourself website builder. So what that means is that we're not going to go in and physically make the website for you. But that being said, we do have a lot of resources, like step-by-steps. Actually, I released a video on our YouTube channel maybe a couple of months ago on how to build out an EPK, and it really walks you through it from scratch. So check out that YouTube video. It's a free resource. It'll walk you through step-by-step how to do it. And once it's done, if you want some feedback on it, what you can do is send a link to it to our support team and say you'd like a site review or just specifically an EPK review. And what they'll do is they'll get back to you within a couple of days. They'll give you feedback on your current content and some suggestions on what you can add moving forward. So give that a try. Definitely check out our resources, all free. Again, YouTube, on our help articles as well through bandzoogle.com. It'll guide you through it step by step. And then when it's done, send it over to our support team and they'll take a look for you, okay? So while we don't have a service to build it for you, we'll do everything else aside from build it for you, including give you feedback and suggestions. EPK template. Yeah, Joe reads songs. First, Sane. Did I pronounce it? Is that Sane? Sane's World? Greetings from Columbus, Ohio. I have family in Columbus, and I was just there a couple of months ago. Beautiful city. Loved Columbus. Really, really cool place. EPK template. Yeah, so an EPK template is we have these things called page templates. And what they are, so basically when you're creating a new page on your site, it's going to ask you if you want to create a blank page or if you want to use one of our preset templates. And a template will just be sort of like a pre-built out layout of suggested content. So it'll have these empty blocks of content like text, image, so on and so forth for you to fill in. So you can go through it and it just sort of simplifies things for you, and you can move it around. You don't have to stick to that template, but it gives you sort of like a pre-built template to work from. And there's one for EPKs, and there's all different kinds of EPKs depending on the purpose. There's a general one. There's one for getting booked at festivals. There's one for media. So depending what the purpose you want to build it for. And sometimes people build press kits to further a tour or to further gigs. What that means is if you're planning a little bit of a tour, you're going to be playing a couple of venues, you can build an EPK with information for those venues. So it'll have things like either set lists, stage plots, tech riders, all that good stuff that venues might need to know about you. So there's a specific kind of EPK for that, and there's a template for that. Love Van Ziegel's a site builder. Just got out of work, listening on the drive home. Columbus is a nice big college town, decent music scene. You know what? It's really cool. Actually, my family lives kind of out in the outskirts of Columbus, but then they brought us kind of like to the older side of town, I guess like the college part of town where there's beautiful parks, like some awesome cafes and restaurants. It was really beautiful. We were only there for 2 days, but yeah, it was amazing. Flash Boy, 2 question marks. Well, man, I mean, come on. You got a question, ask it. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. And again, it can be about anything. So yeah, here you have some EPK examples. This one, the photo gallery, that sort of template that, the layout that you see for the pictures there, that's called the mosaic layout, if I'm not mistaken. But there's a couple of, there's grid layout, which is just like a standard grid. But this sort of like mosaic view is really cool. It's really effective. And so it creates this kind of like abstract, visually interesting layout for your photo gallery that makes it a little bit more interesting. So I recommend using that one in your EPK too. Christopher Rico tuning in from the Philly burbs. Who is the review available through my site, which I have through you? The site review that I mentioned, yeah, you can do. If that's what you're asking about, the site review that I talked about before, you can request just a general site review at any time through support. You can do it by email, live chat, and they'll get back to you within a couple of days. So what should you have in your EPK in general? Well, you want to have music, right? So you want to have streaming music. If we talk about like what kind of music to include, don't put your whole discography in an EPK. Really what you want to have in there is your latest tracks. If it's an album that you're promoting with your electronic press kit, then maybe you can have each, maybe you can have each track from the album, but you can set a preview on it. So maybe like a 30-second preview so people can go through and sample it. You can do it that way. Or you can just have your latest single, 1 or 2 tracks off the album as a sample. So don't really inundate people with, a million different tracks. Just have a couple on there, 1 or 2, just to give them a sample. And then make it clear. Let's say if you are promoting an album, you want to make it clear where media or whoever's going to be talking about the album can go to get the full download. So whether that's available on the EPK itself, or that's a separate page of your site, you just want to make that clear. Don't be sorry, Christopher. What are you being sorry for? No worries. That was a great question. No need to be sorry. So here's what that kind of looks like. So you see on an EPK, you see on the side there, this particular person had, that's using the file list feature. So the file list feature is you can add sort of hyperlinks and linking to different types of file downloads. And so for there, they have like different articles for media that they were featured in available there that they link to. So they have just extra information like where they were featured in the media. That's a good thing to throw into an EPK too. And then they have the album for streaming. So you see like, well, not the album, they just 1 track. Sorry. So they have a single from their latest album there streaming. So just 1 track. Keep it simple, keep it clean. What I really like about this is that the whole EPK of theirs was kind of branded towards the album artwork that they were promoting. So you see like the album artwork is really heavily featured there. And then also, the yellow background to match the yellow artwork from the album cover. And so it's all just very seamless. And so you can customize your EPK for whatever purpose. If it's a general EPK, then it's not going to be themed towards a specific album, or it doesn't necessarily have to be. But if it is, if you're promoting a single or an album, this is a cool inspirational idea there to take the pull from. Make use of the album artwork. Keep those colors consistent. See, the viewers here are kind of like any live, right? They're kind of fluctuating up and down, people coming in and out. But if you're new, definitely let me know your name, where you're from, what kind of music you're listening to these days. I'm always looking for recommendations. Again, please send them over. And what kind of music you play. Hank and Claire, our music is linked on our Bandzoogle site to Bandcamp for purchase. Okay to link to Bandcamp on the EPK page. So here's what I'll tell you, Hank and Claire. Bandcamp is a useful tool. It's a useful discovery tool. So people can find you through Bandcamp. They can find your music directly through there, which is good to have. It's always good to have your music available on as many platforms as possible to maximize exposure. In terms of purchasing, I would heavily recommend that you do that through your Bandzoogle website directly. And the reason for doing that is because our music players, our music stores are commission free. We take zero cut of your sales. So you keep more money every time you make a purchase. That's number one. Number two is that you're not redirecting people away anywhere. Kind of one of the big rules of e-commerce is that the more steps, the more links that people have to go through to make a purchase, the less likely they are to go through with it. It's like every time somebody clicks on something and they're redirected somewhere, it's almost subconsciously they have to make a decision to keep going. And it gives them an opportunity to reevaluate their decision, not their life decisions in general, but just that particular decision. So in general, it's a good idea. I'm not going to say don't do it, again, because Bandcamp is have your music in as many places as possible. And if that's a personal choice and that's where you're comfortable with, you can do that. But definitely, if you can, make use of our music players and just sell it directly through your website for those reasons. You're welcome. You're welcome. Saints World, I believe this is my first live tutorial guitar player for a band project called Corella DeVille. Cool. In Ohio, rock and roll with a punk rock influence. I love that. I love that, man. I'm a rocker at heart. Anything, especially punk rocks, anything related with that, I love. Ooh, I love this name. Blackwistar. I totally butcher that. Blackwistar? QU Blackwistar? Right. Okay. And the constellations. It's a cool name. I'm sure I butchered the pronunciation, but very cool name. Is it a good idea to share my DistroKid page as well on my Bandzoogle website? You can. You can. It depends what your goal is there, right? It's not if it's duplicate. Let me put it this way: if you're duplicating things that you already have on your Bandzoogle website by linking to your DistroKid page, then I would say no, don't overcomplicate things. But if it's something specific that's offered through your DistroKid profile, you think that they could get something unique there that they don't get on your website, then it doesn't hurt. Daryl Vanessa Barnes, Daryl from the San Francisco Bay Area. Love the San Francisco Bay Area. My brother lives in Santa Ana outside Los Angeles, and I've had up one time and drove up to the Bay Area, which is about 8 hours, 7-8 hours it took us to do it with a couple of stops. Beautiful. Hey, my pleasure, Daryl. Yeah, we do these once a week. So we do them every Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. So for you in the Bay Area, I believe you're 3 hours behind. So noonish your time. But yeah, the goal is really we have one topic that we're going to cover and talk about. But I'm here just to talk to our members. So you have any questions about music, any questions about your website, do not be shy. So that's an example of what that can look like with music. There's other examples here that I wanted to show you. Okay, this is another thing I wanted to show everybody. So this is Bandzoogle member Moonfruits. And what they did, remember I mentioned Tech Riders before? So if the purpose of your EPK, again, is to provide information for venues or a festival that you're going to be playing, then, and you can have different EPKs built at the same time for different purposes. You can create different pages that aren't in your main menu, non-published pages, and you can build one for all different kinds of purposes and just keep them in case you might need them again at some point. And so with Moonfruits here, what they did was they had an EPK that they built. They had an EPK that they built that was promoting or giving information to the venue for tours, the venues that they were going to be touring and playing at. So they made their tech riders available. And let me see, actually, let me zoom in a bit here. It's a little bit better. Okay. So what a tech rider is, it's basically a listing of any kind of equipment that you're going to be bringing to the gig, along with what you're going to need the gig to supply. So normally what you need them to supply, usually PA, that's one big thing that you need them to supply. And then, so anything that you need, anything that you're going to be bringing. And then also your kind of, they were positioning on the stage that you see here. So they have different stage setups depending on the size of the stage. So they actually really went all out. So if they were doing like a duo performance as well, or a trio performance, or a quintet, depending what they were booked for, the venue would have the information on what kind of positioning they'd be set up in, where they would need the monitors positioned. Not every venue is necessarily going to pay close attention to that, so they can have it pre-set up when you get there, but some do. Some do. So it's useful for them to know. And they just look really cool. I love looking at tech riders. I wish I could get like a coffee table book of tech riders and stage plots just to look through. It's always so fascinating. Love the OC in Santa Ana is really nice. Yeah, it's beautiful down there. Oh, you're a Hollywood guy? The Sunset Strip. Oh, the Rainbow. Whenever, yeah, my brother actually lived like in LA proper for a little while, and I used to go with him and hang out at the Rainbow a lot. And love that. One time, the Rainbow's kind of famous for, rockers hanging out there. One time I went in the middle of the day for lunch because we were on the Strip, and got a table, and we were next to Axl Rose, which is pretty cool. The place was empty, and he was there with a girl, and they started playing. They played 2 or 3 Guns N' Roses songs in a row. That was before Guns N' Roses reunited, and he looked visibly peed off. I got to tell you, he wasn't happy about it. But it was cool. It was cool to hang out next to Axl Rose for a little bit. The Rainbow's my home. Yeah, great spot. Great spot. Christopher Rico. Okay, yeah, Chris. Great. I'm an acoustic cover act. Cool. Really been looking into the EPK for next year's bookings. Good. Yeah, much better than much better than a word email for sure. Look, I mean, this is, we only have a certain amount of time here in these lives, of course, but if you do want more help building out an EPK, like I mentioned before, we do have a great YouTube video that walks you through it from start to end, tutorial style. So check that out. We have help articles on that too. And if you want a hand, or if you have any questions, pop in and ask our support team. They're awesome. Live chat is 0 wait times. You can get right in there and talk to somebody right away. No bots, real people, real musicians that you can talk to directly. They're amazing. So definitely make use of that. One other example that I wanted to show everybody before we wrap today. Let me go through here. Yeah, this is a cool one. So you see, and we have, if you Google Ben Ziegel EPKs, you'll find like a whole host of blog posts that we put together talking about EPK design. And a lot of them will feature Ben Ziegel members that we think have built really beautiful EPKs, and also linking to their websites. You can check them out. So if you want inspiration, definitely do that. Check out our blog. Just Google Ben Ziegel EPK. You'll find them. This is a really cool example of a potential, like a different kind of layout. You think sort of the standard traditional layout of a one page is like downward scrolling, right? But what they did was they took advantage of one of our templates that has the vertical menu along the side, and they kept that sort of vertical theme going with a 2-column layout, and they built out their EPK kind of in a 2-column layout. So it creates this kind of like really cool 3-column structure for their EPK. So you can get really creative with how you put it together and how you build it. A feedback feature we do. Yeah. So what we say in general is that every account gets 1 free site review. And so the free site review could be for something specific, like an EPK, if you want them to put all their focus on that, or it can be a general site review where they take a look at everything that you've done on your site. They take a look at and they give you feedback and suggestions, but it can be something specific. And 1 free, I mean, if you got one 4 years ago, 3 years ago, a year ago, and you want another one, we're not going to say no. Odds are, right? I mean, we're here to help members. We say one free one just so people aren't asking every week and monopolizing all the time of our small support team. But yeah, don't be shy. I mean, we have some people who come back once a year and it's like, hey, I made some changes. Can you check it out? We're always willing to give them a site review. So one free with asterisks around that. It's free no matter what. But don't worry. If you ask for one already or you want another one a year from now, no, no, that's why I wanted to. They're all free. There's no paid site reviews. We don't charge for that kind of stuff. We always offer it for free. Another one that I wanted to show off. Yes. Okay. So how to create an EPK using a template. This is a great blog post. So you can pop that into Google and find it really quickly in our blog feature. Great walkthrough on how to do it. But again, I definitely recommend here. Let me go before we end our stream here. We're scheduled to end at 3:30. But before I go, let me just go into YouTube and let me show you the video that I'm talking about. We'll go on. In the meantime, please, everybody, give me some music suggestions. I'm like trying to build up. I don't know if anybody does this. If you have a Spotify liked list, right? I've just been trying to like curate that very carefully and build it up over the years. Okay, here we go. Here we go. How to build an EPK with Bandzoogle. Okay. This is the one. Let me just swap out the screen share. Here it is. So this is what it looks like. So it's that video there. You see my face all over all of these. It's unfortunate. I know. I apologize in advance. You got to see my face all over everything here. But that one, the middle one, how to build an EPK with Bandzoogle, the full walkthrough, 7 minutes long. We start off with from the trial, from starting, how to go through building an EPK, what to include on every page. It's fantastic. I spent a lot of time putting that together. So my closing words to everyone, if you're curious, check out that YouTube video. Shanes, could you throw up a link to the epitome template or examples in the description of this video, or say how to find them? Yeah, sure. So all of those here, actually, I'll post the epitome one in particular, but all the examples are taken from the examples page. So if you go to bandzoogle.com and you click on examples at the top, it's kind of like a curated list of what we think are really nice, well-built Bandzoogle sites to give people inspiration. You can go through all of those. Those were all taken from those sample sites. But if you're curious about the epitome one, I'll send you a link in the chat here in just a second. If I can find it. But yeah, it's in that it's in the examples page there. Sorry, I'm just with the screen share. I'm kind of limited with what I can click through here. But yeah, they're all there in bandzoogle.com. Click examples at the top. All right, thank you so much for popping in and joining us, everybody, and hanging out with me a little bit here. This is always so fun. It's like the highlight of my week. I love doing these and me talking to members here, answering questions. And I love sort of digging a little bit deeper into different Bandzoogle features that we offer. If you want to check out past live streams, if you check out our YouTube channel here and you go to live, so if you go to Bandzoogle and you click on live here at the top, these are all our past live streams. So we do one a week, and we've been doing them I've been doing them for a couple of weeks. So if you want to go back and watch the older ones, you can do that too. But we also have a really awesome just database of videos that we've been curating for a couple of years. And a lot of them, unfortunately, again, you'll see my face on them. But some of them, we have feature tutorials. We have amazing walkthroughs of every one of our features that you can find here. Just general walkthroughs. We have music career advice, why you should be using merch fulfillment services, even just how to build a website from beginning to end. Full walkthrough, 20-minute long. You can chapter it out for different portions if you're looking for something specific. Creative merch ideas. We got a whole bunch of really good stuff on there for people. So please keep an eye open for those, or check them out whenever you have some free time. Guitar song. My main influence could be described to Eric Clapton, Stevie Wonder. Jeez, that's amazing. Awesome influences. Knower. I've never heard of them. Okay, I'm gonna check out Nowhere. Let me just like bookmark them on Spotify right now. I'll check it. Thanks for the recommendation. Yeah, Hank and Claire, please be back. Please, we do them every week at 3, so definitely pop in. Oh, Seattle area. I've always wanted to go. I've been to Vancouver, obviously, just a little bit north a couple of times, but never been to the Seattle area. I've heard beautiful things. I love the Pacific Northwest. Not just because I like to believe in Bigfoot, even though I'm fully aware it probably doesn't exist, but I've been fascinated since I was a young child. Thank you so much, everybody, for popping in. We're at the end of our time here for the live stream. Again, keep an eye on these weekly. If you're not already, subscribe to the YouTube channel or just keep an eye on it, bookmark it if you want. We post weekly on there as well with good tips and tricks and walkthroughs. So if you did enjoy this kind of thing, we post there regular, and keep an eye on our socials as well. And if you have any questions about Bandzoogle, always reach out to our support team. They're awesome, real humans. You'll never get a bot. No wait time in chat. You can just pop in and talk to them directly. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much for the ones who joined us live. If you're watching this later on the recorded stream, hope you enjoy. Leave a comment with any questions. I'll get those comments as well, so I'll respond to comments after the fact. So if you have questions, put them down there in the comments. And take care. Talk to everybody soon.